allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Wow, I haven't said that since I was a kid.
Okay, we'll open up the public comment. Anybody got public comment? Okay.
Hi, Craig Burns. About 2 months ago, I requested, formally requested from the prosecutor's office as well as the sheriff's office, statistical information, basic statistical information to justify the largest increase in public safety budget in Broadwater's history. I have been met with no answer, and it's very interesting since this is basically what they should be using to base their budget on. It's interesting that no information will be released on what the money is being spent on. Here's the paperwork. I've given to you this before. It's now been 2 months. According to the state of Montana, this is public information and has to be released. And I would encourage this commission to ask for this information to be released. Otherwise, I'll just continue on the same path as asking through the Attorney General's office that it be forced to be released. It's basic information. It's basic budget information. Please take note of this. You guys are going to get sucked into this. This is fraud, waste, and abuse. This is $400,000 in extra money that's missing right now. We have ledger transactions from the PILT like nobody's ever seen for the last 2 years. 4 public safety vehicles have been paid through by PILT. You guys are going to have to explain this at some point. I've stopped giving you some breath to explain it, so please do. Please take the next couple months until budget to figure out why these answers can't be, or why these questions can't be answered. Thank you.
Some of these, I think, were in the paper here a while back, total number of arrests and some stuff like that.
Per month, he's starting to do, per week, I believe, right? Was it week or bi-weekly? He's begun to start doing some basic statistics, like pullovers and calls, but not anything that's on there. So, I mean, and the fact that those can be taken and grouped together and then put onto a website, but not released publicly in general sense, something wrong with that. Twice I've asked formally now. And I'm just asking for crime statistics. I'm asking for theft. I'm asking for child abuse, things that happen here that you're justifying increasing the budget of public safety $400,000 a year for. I mean, if you can't tell me that those are increasing and nobody can, then why are we increasing the budget by a third?
Was it Wynn and Corey that you asked?
Yes, specifically. Questions that the entire public wants to know is where is this money being spent if the statistics don't line up saying that our crime is as bad as they're saying it is to use that money for enforcement. Other departments across the county that need more money to function. I don't understand why public safety has been increased so much but can't justify what their costs are, yet all the other departments can. And we have another case with Donnie Walters, who was just brought up on charges and then it was dropped, and Mr. Swanson lost evidence in the case. This is a guy that's about to have a murder trial, multi-million-dollar murder trial. He lost evidence in a case. Look it up, please. Donnie Walters. He lost evidence. So the case was dropped. You know where we think the money's coming from, but it's not free. And then as the same case with my case, we have the sheriff as well as CPS, again, meddling with families, like never seen before. If you go out in the public and you ask what the police are doing, you're going to hear families, messing with families. It's not even so much as pulling people over. I got pulled over out of my driveway for missing a headlight at 10 p.m. in Townsend. And I learned then that we also have a quota system now instilled. So now Broadwater now has a quota. Is that, I've never heard of that having a quota before, but that's the official news now. So we now have an official amount of tickets that will be given regardless of even being able to justify the crime rates. This is silly. This is harassment. We're trying to get business done outside of the county, and we have everybody buzzing around, pulling people over for 5 over, for 1 headlight. We got to have other things to do around here. It's not the city.
This is the first I heard of the quota. I never heard of the quota before. No, anybody else?
The what?
The quota. I never heard that before.
You know, it's coming up on the police scanners now. I mean, how else can you justify crime but put in a quota? And you can guarantee that you're going to find that. That's the whole point of a quota, right? Find crime.
We'll get these to Corey and Lynn and see if we can get these numbers filled out for you.
I'd appreciate it, and just release them publicly, and I will take that as a public, I'll take that information publicly.
Okay,
I appreciate it, thank you very much.
thank you. Yes.
Sorry, Debbie Randolph, I'm the trust board secretary. I just wonder if letters from the, sorry if I didn't call, letters from the commissioners have gone out to retiring board members, thanking them for their service.
They came to a public meeting in January, and we signed them at that time, and somehow from starting the signature to getting to planning, they disappeared. We've had a lot of stuff disappear, unfortunately. So as far as the one you're asking about, yes. Mike and I signed that individually,
Okay.
and that one went out.
It has gone out.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah, and that was a couple weeks ago.
Okay, thank
So your concern, Debbie, is right on,
Okay.
and that kind of thing cannot,
I just felt the need to
continue to
follow up
happen.
and make sure.
yeah. No, I'm glad you are.
Because the trust board sent that person an individual letter thanking them and a gift certificate for their years of service. But we felt it needed to come from the commissioners as well.
And you're absolutely
Okay.
100%
So that's
right.
been done. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, any more public comment? We'll go ahead with Commissioner's Community Update. See, I attended the hospital mill levy informational meeting and the solid waste board meeting last week. I missed the bridge meeting at Three Forks. I had something going on. That's about it.
Yeah, it was also the solid waste, and it made the meeting there in Three Forks. What it is, there's, they got a lot of bridges, but there were 6 that are in kind of a final countdown, I guess you might say. And 2 of them would involve Broadwater County. One, the Meridian Bridge, would involve Jefferson, Broadwater, and Gallatin. And the Old Town Bridge would be pretty much all Gallatin, but Broadwater would be involved with it. So they haven't narrowed it down to exactly which bridge it would be.
That was a busy night. I got a call from Commissioner Seifert from Gallatin County with kind of what they're looking at now. He did say that this is fully dependent on TSEP funds. So that will determine whether we move forward with either bridge. I went to the Education Foundation event that night. So also hit the e-government meeting. MACO and the League of Cities and Towns is going to be banding together to ensure that counties and cities and local folks are not left out in the cold with that plan from the state. Basically, they don't want to, we're trying to ensure that we continue the partnership to keep prices down for local folks. Board of Crime Control, we had a meeting at the Capitol last week to work through some issues with that ongoing transition and some of the money that has been lost with the transition to date. It's about 1.4 million. I also attended the hospital community meeting and the solid waste board meeting. That's it.
So what do we do? Address some mail here, claims. Claim here in the amount of $52,354.84.
Move to approve or sign the approved claims in the stated amount.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pay claims and set amount. All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Payroll claim here for amount of $174,000, $174,112.43.
Move to approve payroll in the stated amount.
No second.
Motion's been made and seconded to pay approved payroll claim and set amount. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Set of claims here for 4/18 in the amount of $49,302.90.
Now those would be the claims for state amount.
Second?
Motion's been made and seconded to pay the claims and set amount. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Have a contract for assessment tool from the Broadwater Health Services Area 4 Agency on Aging. We need to sign.
Move to approve the signature of that agreement.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve signature for Broadway Health Services. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Take a motion to approve the minutes of April 2nd, 2018.
Move to approve as submitted.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to approve minutes April 2nd, 2018. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Department of Natural Resources, State of Montana. This is a letter for Volunteer Fire Assistance Program. U.S. Forest Service is open. Completed applications must be received by May 19, 2018. Website of the NRC Montana Governor Grants and Loans. Select fire grants. Funding is conditional upon available allocation to this program. Application for the city administrator job in Gig Harbor, Washington. Let's see, Connect telephone bill, postage meters, West Bank's fuel cards, Clarify telephone charges, Clarify telephone charges for senior citizens. Public Health and Human Services, Senior Long Care Current. Fiscal year 2018 Nursing Facility Intergovernmental Transfer Questionnaire. This was a transfer between the county and the state for the nursing facility. I don't, would this still apply or not? Do they it has to be for a full year?
I believe it's for the coming year, so it should say on the subject line there, fiscal year 19.
July 1st, 2007 through 2008.
Okay, so it's last, yeah, that's a good question. It would be for 6 to 9 months. I don't know, we should ask DPHHS about that. It still probably needs to be part of the public record, and then we drill down this week, just place some phone calls.
A letter here from Braun Northwest Incorporated. These are the folks who supplied us with our new ambulance. This is to put it to the test, take transport patients, maneuver it through tight spaces, get it dirty. I think we've done all that already.
Yeah, no, this is just a thank you, and what I was told by the ambulance crew is that they have been so accommodating. Every request, they've called to see how things are going, they're open to follow through, so they wanted us to acknowledge how wonderful the process has been, because it has never been as smooth as it was this year.
Okay.
So that's what this is more or less a thank you. I don't think you need to.
Another Carrot Top Industries Coordination Conference, Prineville, Oregon. This will be in the office. You need that. Okay, with the early, Terry, you want to go ahead with the Terry Roberts Rackets and Wheels?
Okay.
We're gonna, no COSs? I have. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Please.
Huh?
We know it's not required and we know we're unique, but what we do is just review the COSs so that we know what's going on, is
Okay,
all it
yep.
is.
I'm Greg Fink with Allied Engineering in the Bozeman. I'm doing a realignment for Hennessy and Daughters and 71 Ranch and Munns. So you haven't been forwarded this at all. But we're realigning several tracks to kind of accommodate how they're farming it now, because they're farming across the roads and everything. So we're matching fence lines and pivots and all that. So we got an exhibit here that shows the orange on here is what 71 Ranch owns right now. And so you can see this goes across the road and pivots out here and different parts. So then we're realigning all those tracks, end up like this. So 71's all in north and west of the road here and east of the road here. And then between Munns and Hensley and Daughters is realigning along the fence.
Okay.
So there's 3 of them involved, 3 different entities. And it's all just realignment of common boundaries, so we're not creating any new tracks. Just exist, same number of tracks to start with as we're in.
It looks like it's a wise move.
Yeah, it is. It's confusing looking at it, but once you see why, it
Right.
makes sense. You can see here the pivot's going over the line there on all these, and this pivot's going over 2 lines. So it just gets everybody on their own, and then the line of the roads makes a big difference. So it just matches the fencing and lining practices.
I move to support the COS as presented.
No second.
Motion been made and seconded to support the COS as submitted. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Do you need anything left with you?
Actually, that should be fine.
Okay.
If our planner's in, she has a form that we sign. If she's not in, I would say that minutes should suffice.
Okay. Yep, and then
That's good with you guys?
Yeah.
submit it, and then they run it around for signatures.
Right, of the 3 of us and Ann as well.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, Terry.
Morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Last time I was in here, I asked for your support, and and thank you. And I have been working with Brian Obert, and we have been trying to get funding and everything for the Rackets and Wheels for Townsend. And we have exhausted, unfortunately, everything. I have gone to the bank at Stockman's. I have 70% of the loan that I need covered. I am in need of a 30% to finish all the funding so that we can get this thing started. Now, I am asking for monetary right now, but I don't want it to be given free. I want Rackets and Wheels to show the good faith of the town by returning the money over a year's profit over the year until it is completely paid back, so that somebody else can have the money for something that they need. I don't want it to be just a given. I want Rackets and Wheels to be able to return this.
What's the amount you're talking about?
70-30, it's 1.7 total, so it'd be 510,000. It is a lot of money, and that is why I do not want it gifted to Rackets and Wheels. We, through all the paperwork and the banking, it can be delivered back at the end of each year through profits the business makes until it is paid back. And that's how I would like to see it. Therefore, it goes back to the community because the community gave to us.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, what I would suggest is work with the Recreation Board.
I have.
Oh, good, we meet on Thursday. Also meet with the Trust Board. They are charged with funding recreation for the county.
Right, but the county has, in order for me to get into that, it has to be county-owned, county-run, with county money, and all the grants that are for that have to be nonprofit. Like I said, I've delved into everything, every kind of grant that I could try to find to get to back this, and because it is a business entity and not a nonprofit, it puts you over here. But in order to have a nonprofit, you have to have board members, and if it's not run according, if they're not on the same page with you, you can screw your business plan up, and if your business isn't followed according to the plan, I don't want something happening to it. I want this thing to go like it's supposed to for this town. So,
We are also precluded from gifting, granting, loaning, giving money to a private entity. And if we were going to be working with an entity coming forward with an ask for any amount, regardless of how big it is, we would need a full business plan, a full financial plan, letters of credit, just a conglomeration of information. So by going through the recreation board, perhaps you can find some partners. By working through the trust board, they would also be able to walk you through what's needed, they're kind of the first step. And then you could come to us with kind of those pieces filled in. But the law does not allow us to give in any way money to a private individual for private enterprise.
Okay. All right, well,
I'm
thanks,
sorry.
guys.
Thank you.
Can I say something? Terry, the next trust board meeting is this Wednesday at noon.
That wouldn't have
In this room.
happened. She's talking.
So you're welcome to come
Oh,
and just listen and, that's at noon of this Wednesday.
This is good for us, guys.
Hey
Alright,
Terry,
thank
the
you.
recreation board is Thursday at 6, also right here. If you want to come,
I pencil again, my dear, I need to write
would
this
you like
down.
my pen? Okay.
Did you say noon?
Noon.
And
6 o'clock on Thursday is the recreation board. There is a dire need, we understand that, we just can't go out on a limb that the law doesn't allow. So these other avenues and boards actually give us the road to be able to work with a variety of different groups in that way.
okay, 6 p.m. is that here or where is that? That's here
Yep.
too. Okay. All right.
Thanks.
Well, thank you. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
About a half hour.
Since we have a minute of old time, I've been asked about 2 different subjects, and I just wanted to make sure maybe they were put on in the minutes so that the public is aware. One, we locked the front door this winter. It was not because it was broken, it was because we actually were just saving money. The cold air comes through and goes right into the clerk and recorder's office. So in order to keep them warm and keep the heat temperature down, that door was locked, and that's why. And then the second thing is the flagpole fell down last fall, right before the ground froze. So the reason that the flagpole hasn't been put up again is because the ground has been frozen. Mike's been working on it, and just wanted that also in the minutes so that we let the public know those details.
Mr. Chairman, you want me to see if Nicole can
Yes, if you would get.
Who's in this over the weekend? Yeah. I talked to him a little bit. He realized what he was excited. So it's a little bit of that. So that's awesome. Right.
Just to have some.
Is this where they're having the meeting on the 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Consider part of his 400,000, that in excess of that. Did you see this letter? That was the letter that what's his name signed. Well, Darryl said he lady at DEQ says we don't need to use that. I didn't know that's what he just told us, and he was telling us to swim. You can use Spokane Road, Canyon Prairie, and Park Lane.
Maybe closer or just better?
6 months difference. You don't have to go through East Town. You don't have to come down that hill. Because you just turn right and shoot the other way.
So yeah, we'll be internet connection. Yeah. You say 2 cars.
That's what we
I'm sure. Kind of similar to what it overseas.
He was heading north this morning last week. He was out on camp.
The increase? No, that was done a couple of years ago, so that wouldn't be what he would be referring to. Off the top of my head, I'll tell you exactly, right? Right? The very depths. We increased their budget this year by that amount. That's, right there is almost 300. So I think that's probably what he's talking about. If he's going back to 16, he's the increase of 400. No, it's- he's just yeah. And these numbers include both, so it is an apples and apples. Yeah. There's no way to really take it out. Even when they were separate, they were still added to this. Right. Correct. Yeah. So if you do take that out, you could show quite a discrepancy. But all these numbers are too high. Yeah.
I've seen that.
The hard part is you can always take out pieces of information to make your signature on it too. And that's why we have to work with so many different reports, so many different sources of reports, so that when you drill down to it, the arrows are pointing to see the correct. And I think that's just what it's on.
I did share, she did say Mr. Price is
Oh, okay.
interested. Because she wasn't there.
Okay. I wonder if she's making copies or something.
She was gonna be.
Tonight she did say that Jeff Price is going to make this presentation. So she really doesn't have any.
Oh, she doesn't? Okay. Okay, Jeff, if you wanted to go ahead with your presentation, Nicole said you didn't have to be here for that, so.
Okay, thanks. Can we sit here or you want us to stand? These are for you guys.
Thank you very much.
Grab a couple chairs here.
Mike, did you contact Damon after this meeting?
Well, first of all, what I'd like to do is thank you guys for taking the time to meet with us. I'm grateful that we got to meet a couple of weeks ago. You said, do I have anything? And I didn't. So now I've got something for you. What I've done here is put together a series of signatures. It's indexed so you can follow along. We've got a petition. I called Franklin on Friday, about 5 o'clock, and he says, get us a petition. So we wrote a letter. And we've got 100 signatures and several letters from people on Saturday and Sunday. So we have support of our community. You're going to find pictures of the road. You're going to find excerpts from your Broadwater County Road Standards describing what you require as a county road. You're going to find analysis of your road. We took samples and went there and had them sampled. An analysis of my gravel pit, which is kind of what started this whole thing. So if we can proceed, and I don't know, do you keep these or I brought 3, so each one of you have a copy. So if there's a table of contents in the front, so you can follow along. Let's start with our petition. We put this together real quick. The points, we have 8 points. The first one, getting old, sorry. First point, bring Price Road up to the Broadwater County Road Standards, specifically as shown in Figure 1 of the Broadwater County Road Standards. We'll address that in a little bit. Install a 5-foot culvert to cross Price Road at the Sealer property. Install appropriate culverts to drain Price Road. Install or require appropriate culverts for the easements to private driveways to access Price Road. Make the entrance from Rolling Glen Loop a legal and safe entrance to Price Road. The other option would be to return the access to the original agreed condition of the Rolling Glen Loop to be an emergency access only. Make the S-turns safe. We'll discuss those a little bit. These are the bends in the road next to the Sealer and Steingruber and Sealer properties. Give us the name and contact information of an individual who is responsible for maintaining Price Road, who will call people back and will answer emails and letters. Provide a reliable summer and winter road maintenance. And if you take time to look through it, we have pretty close to 100 signatures. We was able to visit people around the community. This excludes, we weren't able to get up to Eagle Ridge or into Rolling Glen. There isn't one person we talked to that said no. So we have a great support. We would also, as you're aware, the time frame of this meeting doesn't allow for most working people to want to be able to be here. But if you would like, we can gather the support and meet at another time. It's going to take a bigger building. This is just the people that have been able to be here today. To address this, I don't know if we need to do that, or I've convinced you that we have the support of our community.
I would think your petition with signatures is probably.
Is this sufficient? Is this sufficient for you guys?
That sound okay with you?
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
All right, so yeah, let's go to pictures. The first one I hope is just a little bit of comedy for us here to lighten it up. But it shows the problem. I went down, if you can see, it's identified on the page above, so you can kind of keep track of what we have. So if you'll look here, here's the picture and then the notes above it. So this is running water across Price Road at the 1.7 mile from Highway 287. I didn't know exactly how you wanted to identify it, so that's how we've identified it. And if you look, there's a little white car there starting to come into that water. I'd like to ask you to imagine yourself with a bunch of small kids coming into that water not knowing what's underneath that washout. And I've got several pictures here because I want to show the significance of how much water and the runoff. Again, if you got another cars coming through, they're splashing through the water not knowing what they're hitting. And look it up, if you can see all the water running through the field in the middle of that picture, this is water that should have been diverted at the Sealer culvert. And it wasn't, and so it's all running across the Price Road here and all along Price Road. At this picture, on picture D, what now has happened is the water has actually cut a channel. And so it's running, and you saw how much water's running there, so can you imagine how deep that water is right there if somebody was to drop into it? Again, this is another picture of that same area. Water's flowing in from both directions, and a significant amount of water crossing the road and crossing the fields. F and G provide the same thing. Now what I've done is I've taken a chance to drive up the road. So we're going to start at 1.2 miles. This is just past where the pavement is. Have you guys been there? Okay, so you're all aware of where we're at. All right, great. So this is looking back towards the pavement, but you'll notice that there's no water drained on the left side of the picture. This is facing to the east. But if you look in the middle of the picture, there's a channel cut through there, and that channel is about 8 inches deep. It was full of water. People driving along hit that, could cause significant amount of damage to school bus, delivery trucks, and safety hazards to our residents. Then we move to the 1.5 mile. This is looking to the west. Again, another spot where the water is not draining. It's caused damage across the road, which is a safety hazard for the people coming through that area. This is at the 1.6 mile. Another spot, no drainage, water cutting through the road, and a place that we need to put culverts. This is now pictures of the damage again afterwards, but we're now at sealers towards Elliott's place at the 1.7, 1.9 mile. And if you notice, there's a bunch of rock there. But that isn't what's the road base, that's rock that is washed down from the runoff. And again, this is another picture as we come down the road. Now that is what people were facing on that picture M. Are we all at M? That's what people were facing if they had to swerve, you know, too much traffic in the area or passing, somebody's gonna end up in that ditch. Literally, you could tip a car over and drown in that ditch.
And at night, you can see it.
At night, yeah, you cannot. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's great. Thank you.
And it's that severe probably for 3/10 of a mile along that section.
When you live there, you know it's there, but for someone not from
All right, and it's the same picture, but we're grateful that the county did come out and try to mark it for us, and they did do that. And we're aware of the efforts the county's put in trying to help us with our road. This now is part of our problem, what we're talking about. If you notice the water there, and if you look in, if you top left corner, if you're looking straight up, this is where the 3-foot culvert is at Sealers. The water is puddling over here to the right of it, and that's because as we turn the picture, we'll see that the water isn't going through the culvert. I'm on picture Q. If I'm going